Spend a few moments talking about text formatting in Google Apps here. Now, we have the ability to format text in the various different main Google apps, as far as Google Documents or Google Slides or in Google Spreadsheets. Excuse me. Um, although sometimes the controls will look a little different. So, even though I'm showcasing some things here in Google Slides today, all of these features should be located in all the Google apps, maybe in a little bit of a different place. So just kind of be aware of the fact that it may not be exactly as the video shows it, depending on which app you're using. Okay? But let's talk about this idea of formatting overall, and the different ways we can format text um, in a document that we've created. We have really four different controls that we talk about, four different general controls. There's the font selector control, where you can choose what kind of font you want to use, the size of the font, what we call our text styling controls that include bold, italic, and underline. There's some other ones out there, but those are the three major ones. And then finally, text and highlight color controls. Okay. Now, a lot of you knew that you can probably change the color of the text, but we may not all have been aware of the fact that you can highlight the area around the text to be a certain color as well. So let's take a look at some of these controls here and how they work. I'm just going to go to a new slide here, and what we're going to do is take a look at one of the text boxes here and just type some text in here. And I'm just going to type in this phrase here. And it doesn't really matter what I'm typing here. We're not really worried about this. But right now, the text is in a certain font. The name of the font, I believe, is I don't even know how to pronounce that very well, but Tribuquec MS is the name of the font. And also be aware in here you have to have the text highlighted to see the controls. But we are bold. We are size 48 right now. Okay, and we can't see that. Or there's the text color controls rather. And right now the font is white. Now you'll notice here, for example, let's take a look at the font style first. So I'm going to highlight my text because you have to do that first before you tell it how you want to change it. Let's pick a different style. And I know a lot of you know that I like to use Comic Sans MS. But there's a lot of different ones in here, and you can actually add more fonts if you wish. I'm going to try this Cursiva font real quick and take a look at that. So that's a little different, kind of cool looking. Maybe I wanted to change its size here, so I can go into my font size, except it's frozen. There we go. Okay. And I can change it to 60, which makes it a little bigger. Now, when you make font sizes bigger and it doesn't fit in the text box, it's important to make the text box a little bigger. And then I can highlight it again, and maybe I want to turn the bold off. Maybe I don't want it that bold. It does change the look of it. I can go to italics, although this is kind of a tricky font to use italics in. Or I can underline it there. Okay, so I have all those different ways of changing its styling. Finally, maybe I want to change its color. Maybe I don't want white. Maybe I want lime green. Okay, which changes the color. Now let's talk a little bit about this idea of highlighting color. You notice here, here's the text control, and that's what we're looking at right now. But we can also change what the background behind it looks like. Now, if you don't want any background, you'd pick transparent. And what that would do is when you see your text on your slide, you would just see the text itself, and then whatever the slide theme was, that's what you would see behind it. Okay? Or if you had it on just a word processing document, you would just see the white page behind it. But let's say you wanted that to stand out with a color. Maybe you wanted to use, you pick whatever you want. I'm going to pick like a sky blue here and see what that looks like. Now realize that I did highlight it first, but if I turn that off, now it has that sky blue color behind it. Okay, now it's a little confusing because that's the same color as it gives me when I highlight it. So let me give it something else here. Let me give it orange just to make it stand out. Not that I would normally pick orange. But then I turn it off, and there you got orange highlighting green, which looks horrible, but you get the idea. All right? So you can play around with that as much as you want. I'm not a huge fan of highlighting it like that. Some people do, and that's great. But anyway, those are the controls, guys. So again, font style, or the type of font, Okay, the size, the text styling, and then the text color and highlight color are all controls that you can use when working with text in just about any program, not just in Google, but in just about any program, and in just about any type of document that you make.